Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching. We are talking about this powerful, amazing new total solar eclipse moon in Aries. For those of you that missed the last new moon, this is back-to-back new moons in the fiery sign of Aries. So we're going to talk in depth about it today. Before we get started, I wanted to wish my brother a happy birthday. April 18th, today is his birthday. My brother Big, love you. Okay, so this new moon in Aries is a solar eclipse at 29 degrees within 10 minutes of Taurus. So we'll enter into this energy under Aries, but it's going to move to Taurus energy, which is actually good news. So if you're on the Pacific Coast time, it's going to be 9:12 p.m. Pacific time, 12:12 Eastern Standard Time. And what I love about these two numbers is that they speak to each other. So 9:12 and 12:12 reduced down to 3. So 3 is the visible number in both of these time zones. 3 is the number of creation. Okay, so eclipses are always powerful, and this one in particular is super powerful. And the idea is that the energy of it will resonate for the next 6 months. If you're watching this past the solar eclipse time, remember that messages such as these are timeless. When a new moon or full moon or energy comes in like that, we have 2 weeks to capitalize on the energy. So if by chance you're not seeing this on the 19th, 20th, or the 21st, you still have time to capitalize on the energy. I don't know if you guys have been feeling it, but I am. I have a fire stellium. So I have a stellium in Sagittarius. A stellium is when you have 3 or more planets in a particular zodiac sign. So as we talked about last time, this is a double new moon in Aries. So I feel like second chances. How often in life do you get a real second chance to do something? The mantra for Aries is I am. The power of Aries is action, being able to take action and fearless action. The key word is assert, to assert yourself and stand in your power. This is going to give us, this energy is going to give us the will to finally act, the will, the energy, the inertia to help us get going. Aries is the quintessential entrepreneur and the risk taker. So we are, think of it this way, we are being given permission to finally act. The biggest energetic news, April opened with an 11 gateway. It's a universal month anyway. 11 is the number of the psychic master. So as we came into April, it's a 7-year, 7 plus 4 gives us that 11. It's the master number of intuition. I don't know about you all, but my intuition has been through the roof. And yesterday I had a day where I followed it to the nth degree, and it was absolutely amazing. I believe in all of this stuff, but when it happens, I'm always humbled by it. So yesterday was a very humbling day and a reminder for me to continue to follow and listen to my intuition. Okay, this is a special new moon because it's the second lunar cycle in a row in the fiery sign of Aries. This is a rare moon because it's called a hybrid eclipse, and it only happens in 3% of all eclipses. It begins as an annular eclipse. Annular is a Latin word for ring of fire around the sun. And then it moves to a path of totality across Australia, Eastern Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, etc. And then it becomes partial over Southeast Asia, the Pacific, the Indian Ocean, Philippines, and Antarctica. So whenever the eclipse path of totality falls around these areas, the idea is that there will be news coming up in the upcoming months. So again, this eclipse energy will be with us for the next 6 months. Eclipses are interesting because they bring things out of the blue, like unexpected news. Maybe we'll hear from someone we haven't heard from in a while. We'll have a memory that might pop up, but it brings totally out of the box things our way. There may be a jump into unexpected. You might unexpectedly get promoted. Something prominent and exciting will probably happen in your life during this time. Eclipses can also bring permanent changes. It can help you finally rid yourself of things that you need to move away from or things you need to bring in. You know, think of eclipses as ending something so that a new beginning can actually start. The new idea that you started in March, I want you to scroll back to March during the first new moon of Aries. Whether you were aware of the new moon or not, if you scroll back, think about it, because whatever you were intending or wishing from, you will probably get a boost now from this second new moon and the eclipse energy, giving you the opportunity to restart and to redo, but this time with a burst of energy and support coming behind you. Let me repeat that. A burst of energy and a lot of support behind you. So again, we're not alone. Sometimes we think of loneliness, we always think of mankind. We forget that we have elemental energy around us. The plant life, the planetary life, the trees are wisdom keepers. So the idea is the zodiac and the planetary energy is here to support you, okay? This new moon will change your life. And it is also a stellium because Jupiter, Sun, Moon, and Chiron are all sitting in Aries. Second Aries new moon under a total solar eclipse and a stellium. It's fire, fire, fire. I wore red. I wore my carnelian necklace. I've been wearing red the last few days because red, if nothing else, is the color of courage. It takes a lot of courage for the average human being to even put on a red outfit. So think of it that way. The Aries new moon solar eclipse activates a gateway to a new reality. So doors will open, bringing new opportunities and new pathways. Some of these opportunities may come as a surprise, but others are probably things that you have been wishing and working towards for some time. It is considered a timeline jump that will be initiated by the solar eclipse. Mercury retrograde, and the first retrograde of this year is returning the day after the eclipse. So be mindful, show yourself some grace. We'll be hypersensitive. Again, leading up until the pre-shadow of the eclipse of this Aries new moon, and with the shade of Mercury, the pre-shade of Mercury, I have felt some anger, I have felt some intensity, but mostly I've been highly impatient. This is classic of this time, so show yourself some grace. You know, when we're impatient and sometimes angry, it's because we're ready for a change. And the frustration can come up because we haven't done the things, we haven't taken care of the business that we needed to do in order to be where we think we want to be. So don't worry about this Mercury retrograde. Don't panic. It's oftentimes, this retrograde is in the sign of Taurus. So if it had to be in any sign, Taurus is awesome because Taurus grounds us and it slows things down, just like Mercury retrograde. So be uber mindful of your words, your actions, and your thoughts during this time. Mercury retrograde slows down the wild, impetuous, fast, furious energy that we've been living in with Aries. Mars is creating a sextile to Mercury and Uranus. So Uranus is a planet of dreams, unexpected changes. Mercury, of course, is communication. A sextile is good because it brings cooperation and harmony. So we have Mars, Mercury, and Uranus, three planets that highly affect us on different emotional levels, coming together in a sextile. So again, that's good news. And Taurus is also associated with Venus. So this Mercury retrograde is about loving thyself. Whenever retrograde happens, Mercury in particular, it just asks us to take a cosmic step back, to pause, to go slower. Yes, communication definitely breaks down. Yes, there's some issues with technology, but the idea is our internal thoughts create our external world. So if anything, check in with yourself, spend a lot of time with yourself, okay? Let's talk about numerology. So the sun and moon are sitting at 29 degrees, 2 and 9. 2 is the number of nurturing. It's also the number of partnership and cooperation. Number 9 is the end of a cycle. So at 29 degrees, we're ending a cycle. April and the 7-year 7, we are in a 7-year because 2023 reduces to a 7. So 7 plus 4 equals 11. So there's a lot of 11 energy around us. 11 brings in new beginnings, but it can also bring in challenges because it's a double 1. We typically, classically, don't reduce the number 11 down to a single digit, but we still are mindful that there is double 1 energy, which is new beginnings, and there is a 2. If you were to reduce it, it reduces to a 2. But what happens with the 11 energy, we can feel a little bit burned out from too many thoughts, too many ideas, too many things happening. And number 1 energy stresses us out. Not those that have 1 as one of their life path numbers. 1s are CEOs, they're leaders, they're directors, they're managers. 1 energy has to do with wanting to lead and be successful. So oftentimes during this time, if you're not in a place where you're feeling empowered, you can feel overstressed because you're afraid to take that next step because you're afraid you're going to lose. You're afraid you're going to lose time, money, or the race, okay? So it'll cause us to procrastinate and make us pull back. One of the astrologers I listened to, she called it stage fright. We can get stage fright during this high level of action because it seems like, in quotes, everyone else is taking care of business and things are happening for everyone else. And oftentimes we forget that we have our own path, timing, and purpose. So we are in a 7-year, a year of reflection and introspective. I've talked about this since January. 7-year brings about our attention about healing, finally healing things that ill us on the inside and things we've been to that we need to recover from. 7 helps us to create solutions that only come from inside of us because 7 is a highly spiritual number. 7 energy is also slower, and I finally realized that with my fire stellium, this 7-year has caused me to finally just allow. You know how they say let go and let God? I've been doing a lot of that as we came into 2023, which is uncustomary for me. But once I started to understand the energy of 7, I was like, oh, I get it. Everything's going to happen, but certainly not at the time that my emotions want it to happen in. 7 energy moves things slow, and things may seem to take longer than you desire. But slow down and just tune in and trust, okay? So 12 a.m. on the Eastern Front, this new full solar eclipse hits the east. 1 is the idea, 2 is putting the idea in motion, and 1 plus 2 equals a 3, which is the tangible outcome of you putting the idea in motion. Let me repeat that. 1 is the idea, 2 is putting the idea in motion, 1 plus 2 equals 3. 3 is the tangible outcome of you putting the idea in motion. 12 is a double 3, which added together is a 6. So you're creating from love, okay? 9-12 also reduces to a 3. So again, this is a very high creative time. The key messages here is we will get better, we'll get a better idea of how we fit into the collective. And it'll be a time of reviewing how we have stepped up and stood in our own independence. Aries energy is all about new starts. It's dynamic, and it can also make you feel not only assertive, but like I said, a little frustrated due to the fiery movement coming from this slow 7-year. Our peace and bravery is needed during this time. It's also about self-awareness and self-sufficiency. We are going to need to be able to do our own disciplinary actions for our own lives and selves. It's about discipline, consistency, commitment, and follow through will be vital. And think about Aries as the first sign in the zodiac. It's the first child, but Aries is about the whole person and taking care of yourself from the inside out. So this is a time to bone up on your skincare regime, correct your diet, do meal planning, bone up your exercise routine. What to do? You want to set intentions. You know, I talk about this every month, doing a ritual, setting intentions, but like I said, this is the important time to actually do it. If you don't do another ritual in this quarter, please on tomorrow night, at some stage before your head hits the pillow, do a small, simple ritual. Create a ritual. It could be just writing, having a cup of tea. You know me, I'm going to talk about my ritual setup here in a moment to give you some ideas. Sage, sage, sage. Palo Santo, Palo Santo, Palo Santo, selenite, 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 your environment. This is a time to clear. So it's a time to clear the deck so that we can have spaciousness and energy for this new auspicious energy that's coming in. Take the best of your best ideas and focus on it. Don't let emotional energy distract you from focusing on what you need to get done. Sometimes we can justify our emotions that we're not getting stuff done because we let our emotions overtake us. But please try to dive into that action-orientated sign. You will be supported. The universe has your back, okay? Spend time self-reflecting and writing things down. Again, it is very critical to write things down. Sketch out, just write. It doesn't have to be anything perfect. Just sketch out and write out and reflect on where you were and what's happening to you, especially if you look back to March, and write out, make a decision, decide, and stick with it. Find something that you really want and write it down tomorrow. East Coast, it will be wee hours of Thursday morning. This culminating energy will allow you to have a breakthrough. Focus also on the number 4 energy, because the number 4 energy has to do with stability. Where am I getting the number 4? April is the 4th month, because there's a lot of 4 energy around us. Sometimes with 4 energy though, even though it's a number about stability, it has you question how stable you are in life. How stable are you financially, socially, psychically, spiritually, physically? How grounded are you? And what is preventing you from being your highest grounded self? What else to do? Spend time brainstorming and whiteboarding. I love to get out an easel and just write things that come, random words, sentences, quotes, thoughts. It's a good time to do that. Write, like I said. And also, this is an idea. Look into the goddess Pele. Pele is the goddess of volcanoes and fire. So again, when a sign is on deck, tap into, so we're in the fire sign of Aries, so we want to tap into using fire. And again, I'll speak to that shortly, but Pele is the goddess of fire. She's the Hawaiian goddess, and she's responsible for its rich, fertile soil. And she helps destroy everything in its path. What do you need to destroy and eliminate so that your path is free and clear? Energetic update. Like I said, April was a very powerful month. Easter Sunday was Passover, Easter, and Ramadan all on the same day. I don't know if you felt it. I had a lot of reverence. I also felt very tired and way more quiet than I normally am. But it was such a potent day. So we had Passover, we had Easter Sunday. We're still in the energy of Ramadan. We had the full moon in Libra on 4/16. Just a couple days ago, it was Orthodox Easter, okay? 4/19, the new moon in Aries, the second new moon in Aries comes in at 9:12 Pacific Standard Time. And then on 4/20 at 12:12 a.m. Eastern Time. On 4/19, the energy peaks, like I said. On 4/20, Taurus season begins, okay? On 420 in Vedic astrology, Jupiter changes signs to Aries again through May 1st. So there's another planet, Jupiter, that's in the sign of Aries. And as I said, 421, Mercury retrograde arrives in Taurus. And we'll talk about Mercury retrograde in another video. I want to close out this session with a thought, but before I do that, I want to show you my setup. So this literally is Earth for me. This is my geode, my beautiful geode. It's clear and white, represent consciousness and the mind. I've got my clear quartz heart because quartz, I should say clear quartz, is a conductor of energy. So I've created a ring with these votive candles around my planet. I also have tiger iron, I have red tiger's eye, I have ruby, and I have garnet, because garnet and ruby, any of the red energy of these crystals help to ground you. So the idea is, in order to create anything, you have to come from, it has to have soil. It has to have soil in order to grow, to germinate, and to sprout up. So I've got those, that's why I have those crystals there. And here on the side here, I've got a little setup. I've got natural pure citrine in two types, two versions, and I have golden healer. These are all yellow. This is tied to the solar plexus. Remember, Aries is I am energy. So our ego also lives there. Our insecurities, things that make us uncertain, also live in the solar plexus. So I have yellow. Also, citrine is the money bringer. It's financial abundance, okay? And behind me, I've got, so again, I'm all set for tomorrow night. Shortly at 9:12 p.m., I will begin. I've got my selenite wand. I will be using the selenite to wave it around my body and around myself from head to toe. I'll use the selenite. I've got my sage ready. I will be burned, baby, burned. I also have my quartz crystal because I will light this ring of fire, and I will sit on my meditation cushion with my cluster on my head and meditate. Again, I want to tap into my own emotional intelligence and God and goddesses and angels, fairies, archangels, all of them. I want them to come in. This is something I rarely use, my Tibetan bell. Tibetan bells, I call this like the OG. When you really want to clear out things in the pathway, I bring out my Tibetan bell. I can talk about that in another video. And I'm bringing out my mala. This mala is really amazing because it's got Ganesha. Ganesha is the destroyer of obstacles. This is citrine and blue apatite. This thing is unbelievable. So I will use this as part of my meditation, and I will probably use the mantra Shreem. Shreem is an attracting mantra. It's a seed mantra that brings things in. So I want to attract my dreams, my desires, and my wishes. So I will be lighting this up tomorrow. And let's close out this session. I want to leave you with these words. This comes from Forever Conscious. I thought they did a great great thoughts on this new full solar eclipse in Aries. Aries is a fire sign, and the element of fire which lives within us all gives us strength, courage, passion, and determination. When it burns too strong, however, the element of fire can lead to anger, attacks, destruction, and being too impulsive or ego-driven. Balancing our own inner fire may be a theme around this eclipse. We may feel that Aries energy pushing us to stand up for ourselves, leap into the new, and find the confidence to enter the new doors that are opening for us. But we may also find ourselves needing to bring it back, tame our egos, take responsibility for any destruction, and reconsider the voice of our hearts. Whether your inner fire needs to be fanned or tamed, this eclipse will be your guide, helping you to cross into a new state of being, or perhaps even a new reality. The transition that unfolds under this hybrid eclipse will be mirrored within, so pay attention to how you are being guided to move. The Aries new moon solar eclipse is laying the foundation for a new pathway to emerge. It is ripe with fertile, creative energy that we can use to shape and fashion the next chapter of our lives. You are a co-creator of the universe. So use this powerful and work with the eclipse by exploring manifestation work and setting intentions. Keep your vibration lifted and remember that all things are possible, especially when you step up and become the leader of your life. I want to thank you so much for always tuning in to these moon talks. Finally, I leave you with this. Be your own spiritual guide and look into yourself for support. Count your blessings and be grateful for all that you have as it exists today. You will have the drive to take control of everything that has been keeping you from stepping into your power. And this new full solar eclipse moon in Aries is going to be there to help us do it. Thank you so much. All the best. Namaste, namaste, namaste.